the beauty of this setup is it brought these 6 former members together. So they're not alone. They're together. And now all of a sudden that reinforces their ability to start getting interested and aggressive on this. This is a brilliant idea. I knew it was a brilliant idea 13 years ago. You know, and there are a lot of people like they have that. They come up with some idea when they're 28 or 30 or something, and they're unbelievable. This is brilliant. And it is, but they can't do it. But maybe 20 years later they do. And they knew from day one it was a brilliant idea. I always knew it, but I couldn't fund it. There was no way I could fund it. It took 13 years before almost 12 years before the funding capability occurred. And the irony, not the irony, but the beauty of it is, had I gotten the money back in 2001 when I came up with this idea, it wouldn't have had the impact. This is going to have.
What kind of impact are you expecting?
Oh, the disclosure. We want a trip disclosure itself.
With this
event, absolutely.
How do you see that coming down?
It comes down because the press get kicked into another level. I like to call this the blue dress of the disclosure advocacy movement.
Yeah.
All they did was hold up the blue dress, and 10,000 TV trucks were launched.
Right.
Boom, just like that. And they didn't have to think about it. So we've never seen that. But if this becomes that blue dress and launches them into a gate mode, and they start doing some hard investigation questions, actually start talking to these people, really talking to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll suddenly start seeing, visions of Pulitzer Prizes. They'll start dancing.
This isn't this cover-up. This is truth embargo.
No, it's the biggest. It's not a cover-up. It's a truth embargo. So it's not really a gate, but it's the biggest news story of all time.
Yeah.
It's going from blue book to the deep blue, to use a quotation from Carl Sagan, to go out into the new threshold to what's for our positive future.
Bless his heart, trouble is that threshold's already come to us, and he knew it. In other words, the fact that there's a big universe out there is impressive. The fact that people that live in that universe, not us, are here is really impressive. And
the fact that we're ignoring it is also impressive.
It's a product of the Cold War. But the ETs, I think, showed up because of the Cold War. I mean, they're increased activity.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is tied together. Cold War is over, comes disclosure, comes formal contact, all that could happen very quickly.
Do you expect the Congress people, the former Congress people here today to do what with what they hear?
Well, look, we have not asked them to do anything. They were here to take testimony and do the fact-finding process that you see the Congress do from time to time. Sometimes well, sometimes not. After that, they don't do anything. Now, if they want to, that's fine. But they weren't brought in to become, quote, a group of activists working on behalf of the issue. That is purely up to them. We'll see what happens. Some may get involved, some may not. Who knows? But the fundamental target for this whole event was the Congress, 14 blocks away, who haven't had a hearing in 45 years. Sort of giving them a little nudge, because as it's been stated in various ways, there's 200 witnesses like this prepared to go in front of them tomorrow. The other target is the political media. You've been kind of standing down on this all these years,
right?
You're covering the issue more and more. I mean, you're writing it up, scribing it. This event, that book, that speaker, that conference, whatever. 1,000+ articles a year, easily, maybe more, probably 2. But you're not investigating it. Right. It would be the equivalent of the Washington Post telling Woodward and Bernstein, don't investigate, but if Dick does anything, write it up. In this case, of course, there's no Watergate scandal. So the point is that we want them to go to that mode, and that's the message to them. And there have been many attempts to motivate them, but not sufficient enough to create what we'll call a chain reaction, a critical mass.
Even me, who have heard this for years, the same sort of thing. Something's coalescing. It's coming. It's crystallizing in this testimony here in ways I haven't seen before.
The venue is special.
Anyone who really starts investigating finds out that
No, but the bunch of people that Stephen put together.
Fantastic.
I think really a bunch of people you put together, and the quality of their testimony is putting something else out there.
The key is to commit.
Yeah.
It's to commit. Right? It's a simple thing. Nobody had ever tried to do it before. It was harder than I thought. We ended up spending twice as much money as we expected, but thank God we had it.
Yeah. Well, so you're happy with everything.
So for years the argument was there was not a sufficient database for extraterrestrial reality. We have the database. You and others have brought together the critical mass. This is so important.
Critical mass event. It's only a fraction of the evidence, but it's critical mass is about the right material in sufficient quantity to trigger a chain reaction. And you could have bricks of radioactive material, but it's not the wrong kind. You get no nuclear. But if you've got the right kind, uranium-232, whatever it is, in carbon bricks, and you pile them in a big enough pile, suddenly you get a chain reaction. So it's a recipe, and that recipe has never been achieved in 65 years. Some people thought the Roswell anniversary might do it. The Air Force actually moved pretty aggressively to water that down. They did a number of things, all right? Some people thought the 2001 big press conference that was held here would do it. That wasn't it either. This might be it. You know, and let's face it, the reason it's possible is money. Without the money, you can't create a event of this magnitude.
And we want to thank a mutual friend, Sandy Wright, for her sacrifice, for you and for our
Helped me a lot.
friendship, and others, Tony Ohanias and others.